No, I'm sorry that I'm late, and I'm sorry the camera sucks. I made fun of the production values last week, and I have to do it again.
Don't worry. I'm going to go on Amazon right now, send them the camera that you actually need. I've learned so much in my years doing this. It's just technology. It's always fun.
Tell me about last week for you.
I don't
You
want to talk
you
about it. It
were
was absolutely terrible. I got
why?
rained on Monday night, like torrential downpour, looked like a drowned rat at the game. And I was like, you know what? I deserve this. I went 1-6. Like this is a great culmination to a shit week in college football and NFL. Just rain on me. Somebody strike me with lightning at this point because it was just like when it rains, it pours, literally
How do
and
you know that
figuratively.
you? How do you know you look like a ground rat? Did somebody say
Drowned,
that to you?
drowned rat.
No, I know, ground rat. How do you know you look like that? Did someone say that? Or did you look in the mirror? Or did
Yeah,
somebody tweet that?
I went to the bathroom and I had like black lines down my face. My hair was like completely flat. It was terrible.
And you went 1-6. I don't. What did you like last weekend? I don't even remember you. I don't remember any of your plays.
Yeah, it
What
was
happened?
not good.
I like to
Auburn,
relive your
trash
nightmares.
offense. Lance Leopold had to kick a field goal, so BYU didn't cover. Let's see. The Texans. The Texans was my one winner. That was nice for us with Survivor. Outside of that, everything else was absolute, utter trash.
Let's talk about Survivor. I want to talk about that. So we picked the 49ers, and our exact strategy was take San Francisco and then root for chaos on Sunday. And you're telling me that people criticized that, saying we should have saved them for this week. We
Yeah,
our
when everybody
strategy
else
worked,
is going to play them. Everybody
but
else is
our
going to play them
strategy
against
worked
the Cardinals.
perfectly. Our whole idea was use the Niners, let everyone else pick other teams. Hopefully, one of them loses. Two of them lost, by the way. And now we
Three of them
now roll
lost.
through to next week.
The Ravens, the Jaguars, and the Cowboys.
I forgot about the Cowboys. Yeah, like how could you possibly question that strategy? It worked
And now
perfectly.
everybody wants to play the Niners this week with
Right.
the same team that just beat the Cowboys. Okay, I get it. They're probably not going to win as back-to-back double-digit underdogs, but
Probably not.
it is a divisional game.
But what good would it do us to use the Niners this week when probably three-quarters of the pool is going to use the Niners? Everybody that hasn't used the Niners is going to use the Niners, but we're
Or they're
not.
going to save them for Thanksgiving, or Christmas,
They
which
got a tough game on
I don't
Thanksgiving
understand.
and a tough game on Christmas.
I
I
agree.
like what we did, and it worked out perfectly because the number one play lost and we didn't have it. I don't know who you're talking to. Are these like friends of yours, or are these people on
No,
X? These are people on
X.
X.
X,
Who gives
baby.
a shit about people on X? Who cares? I don't care. You want to
Oh,
go? You want to go to Week 5 college? What are the guys? The guys sent me a rundown. First of all, let me go through what I don't like on the rundown that John sent.
why? Why don't you? Then you know who used to have one job, and that was to write the rundown.
Me.
And now you're going to
Now I have
complain about
zero.
somebody else whose job it is?
Yeah, I don't like his rundown because first thing he says is quick recap. I don't like him attaching a time frame to me. What if I want to talk for 20 minutes about last weekend? That's ridiculous.
I mean, I don't want to talk about it at all. I'm one of those people like when bad things happen, I just like to move forward and not
Mhm.
focus on it because I already have like enough in my own brain. Like, you know what?
Yeah,
I still have a home to go home to. I still have a car.
right.
Like I didn't lose everything because I used good bankroll management. So like on to the next week. We live to bet another week. So I'm
Yeah,
perfectly okay with doing a quick recap.
I think you are somebody that dwells on your losses. I don't agree with that. It's Wednesday. You're still all upset. You definitely dwell. You're a dweller.
Listen,
You're a
nobody
dweller.
likes to suck. Sucking is not part of my repertoire in life. Like, I like to win. I was born to be a winner. And so
Mhm.
when losing happens, I'm kind of a sore loser.
Here's a problem though. He's got college football week 5. The first item is big games. He doesn't tell me what are the big games. What are the big games in college
You,
football?
okay. You don't know what
Yeah.
the big games are?
No,
Give
I
me a
don't know.
break.
What are they? KU Texas?
Fine.
What's the big game?
Talk about KU Texas. Let's go. We'll go there. And then
Well,
I'll give
you
you
well,
another one.
well, I think the game I'm excited about is on Friday night, Oregon State and Utah.
Ooh,
What
okay.
like I don't consider Colorado USC a big game.
Well, no.
Well, then what is a big game? Tell me.
Notre Dame Duke, LSU Ole Miss. I mean,
That's
Duke's game day. What do you mean? You don't think it's a big game?
I think I got spoiled by last weekend. Last Saturday, the college football games were awesome. I feel like this week,
Fair enough.
they're kind of so. What did you think of? I want to go back to the recap. What did you think of Ohio State, the end of the game, the coach off between Day and Freeman? Like, Freeman doesn't have enough guys on the field. Ryan Day, who I don't like, I don't like Ryan Day.
Yeah, he sucks.
I think he's a jabroni. And he's like attacking Lou Holtz in his post.
Who's like 104.
Yeah. Lou Holtz is 100 years old. He's talking shit at a guy who should be in a retirement home.
Like, I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids.
We got lucky in that game. Everybody bet Notre Dame in that game. Ohio State had no business.
Yeah, but they bet them at 3.5.
No, +3.
Oh, you guys.
The sharp guys took 3.5. Most of the money came in at 3. We got out of there with a push. We were lucky because there's no way
Notre Dame should have won that
game.
Yeah.
Of course not. Of course not. All right, let's go. You tell me what you think are the big games, and then give me your picks, and then I want to know what the hottie threesome is.
I don't know yet, and I'm going to get in trouble for that. But it has been a really busy day in my defense. Like, I'm trying to cram like 5 days worth of shit into one day. I'm stressed. So I've got 4, if not 5 teams I think can win outright. But we can talk Duke, Notre Dame real quick. Game day is going to be there. Better defense plus the points. How does Notre Dame respond? Do you think that loss at home to Ohio State is like a dream crusher, right? Like, now they're not going to get in the college football playoff? Because those are like those situations that I always try to look for. I think this Duke team looks awesome. I think that, having game day there for not a college basketball game is going to be really intense.
Yeah.
I kind of like them plus 5.5, but I've been really bad about betting against Notre Dame this year.
I got a few comments there. I don't know. Why are you convinced that the better defense is Duke? Notre Dame balled up Ohio State pretty much the whole game. I'm not so sure about that. No, to your other point, no, I don't think Notre Dame's college football playoff hopes are over. Remember, they still play USC on October 14th. They are Notre Dame. If they go 11-1, I think the committee will bend over backwards to find one of the 4 spots for them. And their one loss.
Unless the other 4 teams are undefeated, which is not going to happen.
But that's very unlikely. I mean, you're right. But I think that's extremely unlikely. So, no, I don't think Notre Dame's college football playoff hopes are dashed.
You don't think USC, Texas, and Michigan won't be undefeated? Georgia?
It's too early isn't it too early to do that? Didn't we get a mailbag question about that?
Yeah, we did that last week.
Bad question. I don't like it. No, it's too early for that. I don't know. So Duke was getting like 2 touchdowns against Clemson a couple of weeks ago. Yes, we now know that line was too high, but Clemson could have easily won that game if they didn't turn the ball over. Clemson should have won on Saturday against Florida State, the game that cost this sportsbook a lot of money. Clemson had no business losing that game either.
That was bad.
I'm not so sure. I don't know how good Duke is yet. I mean, we're going to find out a lot on Saturday. But
that's why I think I like Syracuse, though. I think that is going to be a big matchup for what it is, right? Syracuse has seemed to kind of own them, at least against the spread. Last year had a chance to win in Death Valley, coughed it up late. I don't know. Clemson's not getting into the college football playoff now.
And to your point about Notre Dame, Clemson fits into what you're saying. Is Clemson's season over now?
Yes.
They have 2 conference losses. They're not going to make it to the ACC championship game. They're certainly not going to make it to the college football playoff. How is Dabo Swinney going to get his team up for that game on Saturday? They are out. So you're going against Clemson?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is Syracuse's Super Bowl. The line is just a little shorter than I'd like it to be. I wish it was, 8.5, 9, and I'd
Why don't you tease it? Why don't you tease it, Kelly?
Okay, so anyway, next game. I think that's pretty much about it for like really exciting big games.
So you admit that there are no big games. You're admitting that the big
LSU Ole Miss.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Ole Miss was a side this past weekend we saw sharp guys and public guys take Ole Miss against Alabama. Alabama looked pretty good in the second half of that game. They really came out focused in the second half. That was a really good win for them against Ole Miss. And now Ole Miss has got to bounce back and play LSU. The SEC West is brutal. You just don't get many weeks off, except for the second to last week. I know you complain about that every year.
I was like, okay, except for when you play like Fordham or something, like some FCS school, or are they Division III? Yeah. I don't even know.
What do you have against Fordham? What's your problem?
Do they even have a football team? I don't know. Maybe they only play like lacrosse. Team. I was just trying to think of like some obscure team that they play in late November. It's always like my birthday week. Like the SEC plays like the Little Sisters of the Poor.
Right. So well, other than
like a bye week.
Other than Kelly's birthday week, I think the SEC teams play a pretty difficult schedule. And
that's all part of the bias and the myth. Please tell me how great teams like Vandy are. Come on, that's a real tough one right there on your schedule.
When was the last time that an SEC team didn't win at all? I guess Clemson a few years ago.
Yeah.
Don't they win at all like every season?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean they aren't top heavy. When has it not been Alabama or Georgia? Been in one of the two. So besides
LSU won it in 2019.
And LSU, fine. Then you get 3. And LSU is not going to even be in it this year.
Well, Auburn won it with Cam Newton, and Florida won it with Tim Tebow.
And that was when I was in college. So anyway, moving along.
No, you're dating yourself incorrectly. Move along. I'll run through a few sharp plays. So I mentioned this game on Friday night. Utah goes to Corvallis to take on Oregon State. We've seen sharp money on Oregon State at -2, -2.5, and -3. So definitely a lot of money there. Here's one in the SEC, Kelly's favorite conference. She thinks all these games are tough, especially when you go at Vanderbilt and Missouri. They laid 12, they laid 13, and they laid 13.5 at Vanderbilt. Tough place to play.
Oh, yeah. They don't even have like one of their end zones. It's like dirt.
Yeah, really tough. And here, I'll go to the Big Ten. They laid 14 with Maryland. Maryland took care of Michigan State last week. Maryland is a little bit better than people realize, I think.
I guess so.
They laid 14 with the Terps at home against Indiana. The SuperBook is live in Maryland. You aware of that?
Oh, yeah. Home of John Murray.
No, I'm from Virginia.
That's a place you hate. I forgot you hate Maryland.
No, that's not true. We have a SuperBook in Maryland. I love Maryland. I love all of our jurisdictions.
I definitely recall previous episodes of the Maryland trash talk because I was going to hook you up with somebody from Maryland and you said absolutely not. Anyway,
I don't recall that happening. I think that's what they call fake news. There's a lot of fake news out there.
Keep going with the Sharp Report. Let's hear it.
I have to go to the NFL next. That's what I'm in college. No, you know what? I'll give you one more. You don't think it's a big game, but I think it's one of the more interesting games of the week. Undefeated Kansas Jayhawks, Mike Riggs Jayhawks. They go to Austin. I don't even know who Kelly's going to root for in this game. Kelly hates KU and she hates Texas. You're going to have to you can't watch this game, Kelly. But the Sharp guys here, they bet us over 61. And we've seen the total push up a little bit there. So that's a fun game. Can you admit that Kansas football is fun? Admit it.
Fun? What makes a football team fun?
Because they have fun. Like the Miami Dolphins are fun. They have fun play calling, and they've got innovative offense. They're fun.
Okay.
You know what? Your problem is you're not fun. So you can't.
I'm not fun. When I move my entire Wednesday schedule around to accommodate a bunch of people, not only you, but lots of other people, and then people are late, let me tell you, I'm a boatload of fun then.
No, that's true. I have an important casino meeting. I moved the show up, and then I was 20 minutes late. So Kelly's being sweet as usual.
Some people never forget.
I know you don't. Now you go back. You don't have your hottie threesome, but can you tell me what you like so I can make fun of them?
Duke.
Okay, I already made fun of that. Duke.
Syracuse.
Okay, I can see that one.
San Diego State.
Remind me who they're playing.
Air Force. So they're playing Air Force. Air Force has looked really, really good.
Oh, that is a good game. That's a good game.
And as you know, San Diego State has really owned this Air Force team historically. Last year was an absolute and utter snooze fest. San Diego State did not score. If their defense can come to play, I think this is going to be a really fun game. And 10.5 points is entirely too many. Does that mean they're going to win outright? Going to have to spend some more time on that one before I send my video over.
You're the one who does the hottie threesome. See, correct. The rest of us, we don't have to worry about the outright win. That's your
problem. And then can you tell me why South Carolina, which I thought was going to make your sharp report, opened 9.5 on Sunday, now 12.5 versus Tennessee? I know there's a couple guys questionable, but
those Sunday openers are tentative numbers. Those numbers can move quickly, and you need to be willing to move quickly off those numbers, I think. Unless you really
I also was
to
trying to make a case for NIU, Arkansas, and Louisiana Lafayette. Betting against Minnesota might prove to be very formidable, but I don't know if they can go into Minneapolis and get the win.
Let's talk about that, because I'm in this college football wins pool.
Okay.
And one of our teams is Minnesota. Your guy, PJ Fleck.
Oh.
Let me see if I get this straight. Well, I think it was our last pick. Let me see if I get this straight. They were up by 21 points in the fourth quarter against Northwestern. Is that right? Yeah. And they lost? What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Kelly.
Yeah. Not good. Not good. You know who I have in our wins? We had the 11th pick in our college football win total. We took Washington and Penn State. So I feel really smart right now, except for our last pick was New Mexico State. Woof.
Washington and Penn State both look great.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have about college football. And I had a chance to complain about Minnesota. Do you want to – so you went to an NFL game on Monday night. What was that experience like?
Well, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was an under game. I bet on Baker Mayfield. And then our producer, JH, cropped it when I said, I can't wait to cash the CLV trophy. And they lose by 2 scores. And that's exactly what happened. So then it's my own fault because I put it in the universe. No, one of my good friends flew down from Philly. She's a big Eagles fan. We had a great time. One of the guys that – no, wait, he actually hasn't cashed in the Super Contest, but he's cashed in a few other ones. A good friend of mine saw that we were at the game, and he goes, come up to club level, went to club level. Then the Bucs sucked so bad, he gave Caitlin his front row seats to watch her team in the second half. But there was people sitting in them, and I was like,
so they weren't his seats.
No, they were his seats, but because they hadn't been there probably since the middle of the first half because they were getting the bricks beat off of them, and he went up to club level to drink. People must have squeezed down. So then that fourth row was open. So I was like, is this good enough? I'm the only one there in creamsicle, and it's all green at this point in time. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't really feel like getting my ass beat by some Philly fans.
What do you think of Philadelphia Eagles fans? This is just us talking.
I think NFL fans in general are very unhinged.
They are. That's a NFL low IQ people. That's why I've been watching NFL my whole life. It's geared towards.
I didn't say that. Can you tell me the sharp NFL plays this week so I can feel a lot better about the games already bet?
There weren't any NFL big games last week. How was the afternoon game Sunday Bears Chiefs? The Bears suck. Oh, why would that be sorry, John Hogland. Why would that be the featured game in the afternoon? That didn't even make any sense.
I'm not sure. I do not do the NFL scheduling.
Oh my God.
I hit a wall in Miami on Sunday afternoon. So that was a perfect game to take a nap. And that's what I did. I went to the podcast studio and I took an hour-long nap before the Sunday night game.
Well, look, speaking of Miami, the big game this week, definitely Miami at Buffalo. That game's actually at 10 a.m. I think that game was at 10 a.m. last year, too, when they played in Buffalo. But that is not right. That's not one of the featured
games. Can you tell our producer, Mike Rigg, we are not talking about Taylor Swift. I know he keeps putting it in the private chat, but I'm not. I don't care.
Now you are talking about Taylor Swift. You could have just ignored the chat. You want to talk about Taylor Swift?
You're right. Next. So anyway, I watched the Bills this week. So let's talk about that game because you were just touching on it.
No, we did. We've seen money come in on Buffalo. And, I don't have that on my list, but there has been some money on Buffalo.
I like Buffalo this week.
Buffalo -2.5, -120. Buffalo very quietly the last 2 weeks. They demolished the Raiders in their home opener, And last week they played the Commandos on the road and just
That was
destroyed
sharp
them.
play. That was
Their
like one of
defense-
my lone bright spots of Sunday, besides the Texans winning outright, to save me a little bit of face. I did want to ask you in regards to passing, like, there's a lot of different metrics that we use to handicap games. The Dolphins, that the sports books use as well, that there are like certain passing metrics and analytics. Dolphins offense, that's my one thing that scares the crap out of me. First of all, this game was 5.5 on that lovely grid that you guys put out to start the season. And then now it's 2.5 and it might be 3, coming around here really soon. Do the Bills defense have the ability to stop this team? Now, if this game was in December and it was freezing cold, I would love Buffalo, but it's not.
No, it's not. And you look at that line, Buffalo's only laying 2.5 right now, at least as we're recording on Wednesday. That tells you that Miami is considered to be neck and neck with Buffalo right now, maybe even a little bit better than Buffalo right now. And that says a lot. I mean, that definitely wasn't the case coming into the season. But as we sit here,
I have Tua's boys to win the AFC East plus 275 at SuperBook Sports if you watch my videos. But you didn't.
I don't know who would be favored over the Dolphins right now on a neutral field outside of San Francisco.
I was gonna say the Niners. Yeah.
Miami right now, their offense.
Would you make the Eagles pick them? What would you make the Eagles versus Miami?
I just haven't been totally impressed with the Eagles this season. I guess I didn't watch the game Monday.
They haven't played anybody. Who have they played?
I thought they were kind of lucky in the Minnesota game. Justin Jefferson had that ball. He fumbled out the back of the end zone.
Oh, if the Vikings wouldn't have turned the ball over twice in the first half. And I even said that on X on Monday night when everybody was obliterating me for my Bucks pick. I'm like, you know what? This defense did what they were supposed to do. Jalen Hurts turned the ball over twice in that game. You do that against a team with an offense, and you might be in trouble.
New England also spotted Philadelphia 16 points in the Week 1 game. When I was on New England, I really liked New England a lot in that game. They fell behind 16-0. They came back. I think they lost by 5. It's very upsetting to people that had plus 4.5. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen enough from Philadelphia right now to put them on the line with Miami and San Francisco, but it's so early on in the season.
Okay.
Sharp plays. So they laid 2.5 with Cleveland, and then as soon as it got up to 3 flat, plus 3 minus 110, they went back the other way on Baltimore. Texans, when they were at plus 3 minus 110, Texans looked really good on Sunday. And C.J. Stroud has looked more than capable. I mean, even like I watched a little bit of their opener against Baltimore Week 1. He was on the road against a good defense in his first NFL game, but you could just see that he's competent as a player. The Texans look good. Seattle plus 1. They're playing the New York Football Giants. That's Monday night. Who could watch that game? If you didn't have money on that game.
I almost hate myself enough to take the Giants. Like, I'm this close. Just like, you know what? Just inject Giants minus 1 into my veins so I can just go to bed angry for the 3rd Monday night in a row.
That's a bad strategy. Why are you doing that to yourself? Why do you do this to yourself?
You got to take the ugly teams, John. You just got to do it. Okay. I don't know if I can. I know the whole
game.
Seattle. That I can tell you.
Sunday starts the International Series.
Oh, yes, that's right.
When we put this thing up originally, they laid 2.5 with Jacksonville. The number got up to 3. They came back on Atlanta a little bit there. So I don't know what to make of that game. Atlanta really struggled against Dan Campbell, the Lions. Jacksonville, I don't know what to say. I watched a lot of that game. They didn't even attempt to throw the ball down the field.
It was glorious. Houston. I'm telling you,
terrible job.
When you have a money line with a 9-point dog, you're like just hoping that they can stay in the mix, get a late touchdown, maybe something wonky happens. No, from start to finish, the Texans dominated. It was like, let's go. That was a really fun game. And they even got a fat guy touchdown. Like, because that was some weird kickoff. Didn't go far enough.
He fumbled the kickoff.
He bobbled it, and I'm standing there going, oh, my God, you idiot, because he's not used to catching obviously kickoff returns, and then he's like all the way outside and somehow gets like a chubby man. I wouldn't call him a fat man because he wasn't a lineman, but like that kid's stocky. And then, of course, I Googled him and found out he went to Texas.
He did not look like a guy that you would expect to have a kickoff return for a touchdown in an NFL
That's
game.
going to be the highlight of his NFL career. Book it.
I would say so. So I don't know what to make of Jacksonville now. They're used to going to Europe. They go there pretty much every year. So they have that going for them. Outside of that, not much to like about Jacksonville right now. And all of a sudden in that AFC South, Tennessee got blown out by Cleveland on Sunday. Indianapolis at 2-1 after a big win against Baltimore. Are they the class of the AFC South? I don't know. That's a pretty wide open division.
Well, here's the question. So Anthony Richardson was in concussion protocol. So they let you like walk through practice without contact or whatever the official medical rules are. I'm wondering if he's not, are they going to just bench Gardner? The guy that got him back-to-back wins?
So I don't know that Gardner Minshew had much to do with that victory. Gardner Minshew pulled a Dan Orlovsky. He stepped out the back of the end zone for a safety.
I saw that.
The Indianapolis defense played very well. I thought Lamar Jackson played very poorly.
Yes.
But shout out to Matt Gay. 4 made field goals of over 50 yards. The first time in NFL history a player has done that. So I don't want to sit here and act like Indianapolis won that game because of Gardner Minshew.
They've just had epic kickers for years, haven't they?
Yeah, great. That was a really good win for Indianapolis. I don't know if it was because of Minshew. I'd go back to Richardson if it was my call, but it's not. So I have your attention for a few minutes. Do you want to talk about Survivor?
Yeah, I have a lot on my brain when it comes to Survivor. I was at my mom's house yesterday due to not having running water at my house. Don't get me started.
Did you forget to pay your water bill?
I go to Miami for 2 days and Tampa for a day, and all hell breaks loose at my house. Like,
did you not pay your bill?
No, of course I paid my bill.
I don't know what you do.
So I spent a lot of
1
time.
and 6 this weekend. I thought maybe you didn't. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Water bill from last month? No, I'm good. I did spend a lot of time on Survivor. I worked on our spreadsheet. I worked on a lot of spreadsheets actually to try to figure out why I'm making bad decisions in my picks. So I'm trying to kind of figure out some things here. Now, listen, you mentioned a couple of teams that we talked about. Are the Niners going to lose this week? I highly doubt it. You and I used them last week, but I kind of am a little like, can the Cowboys lose? You know, it is Bill Belichick.
Big coaching mismatch in that game. I still think
Mike McCarthy.
Is not much.
Do we want to say Cowboys? Because the Cowboys always lose on Thanksgiving anyway. So it's like, what do we do here with that team? Do we just save them just for shits and giggles because we can? A lot of people probably will. And so here's your theory. Like, do we zig when they zag? I don't know.
Well, I don't really – I want to use teams that not a lot of people are using, and I know we didn't do that the first 2 weeks. I admit I was surprised that the Redskins were the most used pick week 1. I thought that was going to be Baltimore against Houston. I was wrong about that. Week 2, we used Buffalo because my partner was, in my opinion, not focused, and I just made a decision. But week 3, we –
In your opinion? No, I absolutely was not focused.
I know that.
So just
week
say
3,
that. Don't say in your opinion.
I was being nice, Kelly. Week 3, we decided to zig while others zagged. It worked out perfectly. So what do we want to do this week? I know we've talked about the Chargers. I was talking to my brother about the Chargers on Sunday night. I honestly
Brandon Staley, he is such an idiot.
I really believe this. I'm not joking. I'm not trying to be funny. There is no result of a Chargers game that would surprise me. If they lost to the Raiders, I wouldn't be surprised at all. That's going to be 80% Raiders fans, if not more. Brandon Staley is going to do multiple idiotic things. They could easily lose that game. But if the Chargers went and they won at San Francisco or Kansas City or Miami, I also really wouldn't be surprised at all because they're so talented. It wouldn't really surprise me that much. I don't know what.
Did we figure out what happened to Jimmy G in that Steelers game? Did we get like an actual medical diagnosis?
I don't know. I don't. I'm not sure professionally if I can comment on the Raiders game on Sunday. That was not a good look for Jimmy
Are you
G.
kidding me?
So,
I laid 2.5 with the Raiders. You think it's a good look? Like, it's a
no, it was
terrible
not.
look. And I
That was
only
our
lost
best.
my prop picks because Jimmy G threw a freaking 3 interceptions. Like, unacceptable. But if I knew that, I would absolutely take the Chargers on Sunday. If I knew he was good for 3 picks every time you put pressure on him. Also, no Mike Williams, and is Austin Eckler going to play?
Yeah, no Mike Williams. So that's an option if you want to go in an opposite direction. Look, most people are going to use the 49ers. We know that. We can't. So that's not an option. Kansas City, they play at the Jets on Sunday night. If we use Kansas City, that means we can't use Philadelphia again. We've got to save Philadelphia for Christmas.
We have to save Philadelphia for Christmas then, because we already used San Fran, which we didn't want to use that game anyway. Yeah. I'd like to have 2 options. What if Jalen Hurts gets hurt, or what if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt? Those lines are going to drastically change. Speaking of the Raiders, the Raiders, didn't they win a game last year in Kansas City, or was that a couple seasons ago?
No, the Raiders have had some success in Kansas City. It's a good point. Another option would be to use Philadelphia against the Redskins on Sunday. And then if we do that, though, we'd have to save Kansas City for the game you're talking about. Or we could use Dallas and save them both. So there's a few. You texted me. I'd
rather use the Colts. I'd rather just play the Colts.
Yeah.
And just,
what are you talking
just be
about?
done. Like,
you texted me yesterday, and you're like, why don't we just nut up and use the Colts? I'm like, what the fuck does nut up mean? And second of all, I don't even know who the Colts are playing. So I'm in the back office.
You don't even know who the Colts are playing? Your job is a literal bookmaker. Stop.
I look up
pretending
and it's like,
you don't know
they play the Rams. That might be the biggest coin toss on the board. Rams at Colts.
Yeah, it sounds terrible, right?
No, we're not going to nut up and use the Colts.
I'm telling you, Indianapolis is going to win that game, and it's going to be easy. And I'm going to be upset because we're going to have to sweat. Like, Philadelphia is a huge favorite. We're going to have to sweat the Cowboys at home with Mike McCarthy doing something completely idiotic. Or we're going to have to just hate ourselves and hope Brandon Staley doesn't get out-coached by the other worst coach in the NFL, Josh McDaniels.
No comment. Mailbag?
Yeah, sure. You're frozen. I will do the mailbag while you get unfrozen. God, I love technology.
Go ahead, kid. I'm ready.
You're a mess. An absolute and utter mess. I still have not ordered you a new camera yet, and I'm pulling up the mailbag questions right now. All right. Let me zoom in because I don't have glasses, and I didn't think I needed them until this very moment. Okay. Wait, are these the same ones from last minute? All right. Late mailbag submission. JC Wilcox 23 says, hey guys, huge fan here of 2 celebs like yourself. Selves. I got you there. JC Wilcox 23. Sometimes you have to ask the hard hitting question. Will Sandman make his guest appearance? No, he will not make his guest appearance.
Do you know who that is? Do you know who JC Wilcox is?
No.
That's Jackson. He went to Kansas State. He's met you at Kansas State games before.
Okay,
he's from
the top.
He's from a very nice city in Kansas, Wichita, Kansas.
That's what I just said. He's from the top.
Yeah,
I know who he is now, but dumb questions. We don't submit dumb questions. Kevin Boss is back.
See, I don't know. See, I want to go back to that because I wanted us to have a segment, Sandman's Cutting In, where he cuts in and he makes all kinds of wacky comments like Kenny Powers.
No, I'm not doing this for myself.
I tried, you guys. All right, go to the next
Kevin, how much action does it take to move a line from 2.5 to 4.5? And how does that compare in college to NFL?
It would all depend on who bet it. It's really got less to do with the amount of money and the amount of bets. It's about who bet it. 2.5 to 4.5. I'm not sure if that's possible. If we're talking about NFL, unless it was some sort of an injury scenario or multiple injuries to move it up from 2.5 to 4.5. But the important part is it's not about how much money as much as it is who bet it.
Makes sense to me. Danny K 731 wants to know, for John Murray, what was a more historic comeback? The return of Kelly and Murray pod or the 2019 Champions League Liverpool 4-goal comeback versus Messi in Barcelona?
Yeah, it's a bad question. So it's Danny K. Well, it's obviously
a bad question.
Liverpool was down 3-0. They scored 4 goals. They won 4-3 without Mohamed Salah. It's
So what do you
definitely-
think that their like end game line was? Do you know?
Well,
do you remember?
It was 3-0 after the first leg of a 2-leg tie.
Okay.
So then they went back home for the second leg. They had to win by 3 to force extra time or 4 to win. No Mohamed Salah. They scored 4 goals. They won 4-3. It's the greatest night ever at Anfield ever.
Yeah,
and it was
but
much.
like, what was the in game wager line?
I don't.
Because
It
I would
wasn't
have put us
in-game.
at like plus 25,000.
It was, but it wasn't in game. It was. You could bet on it in between the 2 matches, the 2 advanced price. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but it was.
But either way,
clear.
soccer.
Of course,
Soccer
that was
is
better
your
than
choice.
Kelly and Murray coming back. I mean, we won the championship.
You're a mess.
Go to the
All
next
right, Wise
question.
Guy Wager
Easy one.
on X says, let's talk NFL hot seats. Who would you like to get the hook first? Looking forward to hearing
Who
your
do
opinion.
I want to see?
I already said who the 2 worst were. So now you have to pick another one. You can't use Brandon Staley or Josh McDaniels. Go.
I
Kevin?
can't use Brandon Staley.
Todd Bowles. I only called for like 4 guys to get fired this weekend.
Yeah,
Let's hear
why?
it.
I saw you ranting about
That's
Todd
my
Bowles on
thing.
X.
We should just
The
fire
Bucs-
all of them.
The Bucks are 2-1.
Are you kidding me?
They're gonna-
Are you kidding me? They
2-1.
give him almost 500 yards in total offense. They're supposed to be the defensive powerhouse. Give me a break. Absolute
I think the team that needs to move on from their GM, their coach, and their quarterback is Chicago. They got to move on from all 3. They got to start all over again. I'll go with the Bears.
Now, I said that on X, and
did?
I put that in my 4-team drop down, and I said that, and everybody's like, "You're an idiot. The Bears never get rid of anybody mid-season." I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Does that mean they can't ever?
Well, that doesn't mean, but isn't the question like, who should it be, right? It's not will they. Like maybe that guy's right, but what we're saying is the Bears do need to hit reset. I think Chicago needs to just clean house, my opinion.
I would agree. All right, Buckeye775 wants to know, how did the outcome of the Ohio State Notre Dame game affect the SuperBook power rankings for both squads? Has there been adjustment to conference or national Coach of the Year odds for Ryan Day after his post-game verbal assault on the 197-year-old Lou Holtz?
I don't like Ryan Day. I've said that before. I think he's overrated as a coach. I agree with what Coach Harbaugh said about him. You know, starting on third base and just inheriting that team. I don't know what he blew the semifinal last year. Ohio State should have won the national championship last year. They got down to like the 30-yard line and they played for the field goal instead of continuing to move the ball on offense. They would have won that game and they would have been the one.
That was like when I first learned how to play Madden, and it was like, you couldn't like, you know how it's so fast you would like try to hit it. That's what that field goal
was
like.
Not. I don't know how much that really impacted the power ratings. I saw people on X, they were Xing that it was a terrible game. It really wasn't. Those are 2 really good defensive teams. They made some mistakes in the game. I still think pretty highly of both those teams. I don't think highly of Ryan Day.
All right, Gonzo24 from Instagram. Can John just be happy about the show? We love it as fans.
I'm very happy about the show. I love Kelly. Doing a show with Kelly is a pleasure.
The highlight of your week?
It's definitely one of the highlights of my work week. And because the last couple of days, work has sucked. But today with Kelly has been terrific. She's a real pleasure. I really enjoy doing the show.
Even when I have to walk you through tech issues, this is why I should just be in charge, like all the time.
That's every
I would
week.
have never sent you a dumpy camera like Mike Rigg did, and I would also never ask you to talk about some celebrity that went to a football game. Vince in PGH on X says, how does a Raiders kicking for losers moment? Oh God, I don't want to relive this. Rank amongst all kicking for losers moments. The fact that it happened twice on one drive has to put this near the top.
That's a good point though, because they tried to kick a field goal and then the Steelers got called for a penalty and then they kicked another field goal. So what Josh McDaniels is arguing in the postgame is that he was positioning them to win with a touchdown. I kind of understand what he's saying. Everybody's obsessed with getting the tie and then continuing the game. What McDaniels is saying is by kicking the field goal, then we score a touchdown next, we win the game. I still think it was a big mistake though, because he gave his team no margin for error. they had to get a 3-and-out, and then they had to go
Yeah.
down the field and score the touchdown.
It was garbage.
It was not a good decision.
So would you say that is a kicking for losers? Wait, was that a kicking is for losers moment? I feel like it was more of like a surrender. Because
it's not the worst one.
Bears down 41-0 is like a kicking is for losers moment.
No, the worst one is still Vance Joseph down by 4, kicked a field goal.
How is he my defensive coordinator?
That's the worst one. Vance Joseph down 4, kicks a field goal late in the game. It's funny just to even talk about it.
It's not funny.
Yes, it is.
It's not funny. This is my life.
And there was one time in a wild card game a couple seasons ago, Mike Tomlin punted on like the Cleveland 38, trailing in the fourth quarter. They lost that game.
Of course they did, because that's like a surrender punt. That's just
and then there's the Narduzzi.
We're not going to win.
And you got the Narduzzi field goal against Clemson. That was the one that made Ed Salmons come running back from his desk in my office to tell me about it, and we shared a very fun laugh. That was a great one.
I'm pretty sure I had Pitt in that game, so I was also not
Those are my
laughing.
top 3. McDaniels is not in the top 3, although I don't agree with it. Should have gone for it. Should have played for the win.
All right.
Oh, the top in this case.
Yeah, can't wait. Oh, God. What a fucking terrible weekend. All right, John Murray, on that note, what else you got? I got nothing left on the rundown that you didn't write.
I got nothing else. I didn't do the rundown. We'll talk, Friday about the Survivor
Make a decision on Survivor.
Are you done? Are you done talking about it?
I don't know. I'm not done because I want to use the Colts. But or the Chargers. And either way, I'm going to hate myself because even if we take the Cowboys, they're probably going to lose. And if we take Philadelphia, then we're going to be SOL on Christmas or Thanksgiving. And it's just, this is like, we're kind of in a conundrum right now.
Hold on. Philadelphia doesn't play on Thanksgiving.
Oh, wait, they don't. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry, you're right. San Fran plays on both.
San Francisco plays on both. Philadelphia does not play on Thanksgiving. If we use Philadelphia, then we would have to use Kansas City at home against the Raiders on Christmas. So if you want to use Philadelphia, which we can talk about, then it also makes Kansas City is dead to us.
You're the Commies fan. I don't know. I hate divisional matchups in Survivor.
I know you do. I don't like them either. I think we should talk about the Chargers, and I think we should talk about the Cowboys. Cowboys are off a loss against Arizona.
Do we have a Mike McCarthy stat off a loss? Like, is it going to be like last Thursday's was when it's like 18-0? Then like maybe I could get behind the Cowboys and not hate it. Like Mike McCarthy is blah blah blah, blah off a loss. Like I don't care if they cover.
I don't think Mike McCarthy off of anything is going to be a stat that I'm going to like. I don't like Mike McCarthy. I don't know.
Same. But we're running out of coaches that we like. We already used all the good ones.
We haven't used Mike McDaniel. We still have Mike McDaniel.
No, we got to save him. That's why.
If we use Dallas on Sunday, then we got to save Mike McDaniel for Thanksgiving week.
And then it's on the road versus the Jets, and that's scary AF because the Jets might fuck around and win that game. And then all of this was for nothing.
Yes, but we will have a lot of fun, and we'll always have the memory. Our producer Mike Riggs says he's taking the Bears.
Good idea against Denver.
That is a good place to end the show. And we'll
One of
talk.
my friends. Oh, I thought we already ended the show.
No, the show was still recording.
Oh God, John Murray, I got shit to do.
I got a meeting too. I just tried to end the show, and you started launching into a story about your friend. And
well,
that's
I was
the
trying
end
to tell
of the
you
show.
that he texted me he was going to take the Broncos, and I just wrote back in all capital letters, "Idiot." That's how I replied. Like, you're an idiot. Did you not? Whether it cashes or not, you're an idiot. Stop betting these trash teams.
Don't take the Broncos or the Bears, and we'll see you next week.